This time, we're going to be talking about going live with your DXP Cloud project. Today's learning objectives are going to include things like understanding what needs to be checked before the go-live process can begin, learning the recommended best practices for Liferay DXP with regard to source control, IDEs, and Liferay Workspace, understanding the importance of issue tracking before and after the go-live, discerning and planning the build process for our DXP Cloud project, understanding what is taken care of when going live with DXP Cloud and what isn't, and learning about the different deployment processes we can use with Liferay DXP. Kicking us off, we're going to start with checks before we go live. To ensure a successful project launch, we want to make a few checks. We want to make checks that the project is going to be successful, happens with as little issues as possible, and accomplishes the goals of its design. Your Liferay DXP platform will require the following checks: solution and system architecture, performance, security, users, and content. The first thing we want to do is check the solution architecture. Does the project work as expected? Is it covered by UAT reporting? Are all issues fixed before the go-live? Does the platform work on all intended devices? And that's going to be things like laptops, our mobiles, and our tablets. The second thing we want to do is check the system architecture. The majority of this is taken care of by DXP Cloud. Any third-party systems integrated with Liferay DXP using VPN functionality should be checked before the go-live starts. The third thing is a performance check. We want to make sure that all load testing is complete and that we've run some performance tuning. The platform should be highly available, which in most cases means that auto-scaling should be enabled for our DXP Cloud installation. The fourth thing is a security check. The system architecture and other cloud resources are all secured by DXP Cloud. We want to make sure that encrypted communication is configured properly, and this is all done by DXP Cloud. It actually encrypts our communication at rest and in transit. And we want to make sure that our roles and permissions are assigned correctly. We want to make sure that the least amount of permissions are applied to every user depending on their role. We also want to make sure that user organization is logical. We want to make sure that all of our user data should be transferred from any existing user databases before the go-live. And we want to make sure that the user groups are also created before the go-live. These organizations should be set up in a logical and coherent way, which most of the time reflects your real-life architecture. Content management is another thing we need to keep in mind. The asset framework should be understood and properly utilized. We want to be sure that we're able to create web content, upload files to documents and media, utilize blogs, and make sure that all of our assets are organized with categories and tags. Workflows should also be applied to content folders and pages. Working with Liferay. Source control is a very important part of our DXP Cloud implementation. We want to make sure that version control is used to store all relevant project data. We should make sure that our version control is done with semantic versioning, and that we're using Liferay's baseline Gradle plugin to catch API changes that are not obviously available to humans. We want to make sure that we're controlling all the source code as well. This means that there's no need to commit artifacts of successful builds, and there's no need to commit cached files generated by the editor or compiler. The IDEs are an important tool for your developers. It is recommended that developers use an IDE when building a project with DXP Cloud. Liferay Developer Studio is a great IDE for developing with Liferay. It provides an integrated development environment based on Eclipse, which can be used while developing a project with Liferay DXP. Other IDEs that can be used are Eclipse and IntelliJ, which are the two biggest IDEs for Java developers. The Liferay Workspace is also available. The Liferay Workspace makes it easier to develop Liferay modules. It provides a structured approach to developing modules for Liferay DXP. It speeds up and simplifies development when paired with Blade CLI, fully integrated with Gradle and Maven, and integrates well with DevStudio, IntelliJ, and other popular IDEs. Issue Tracker. Liferay recommends that you use an issue tracker for your DXP Cloud implementation. For example, SolarWinds, Zendesk, Jira, and Zoho are all available for issue tracking. All issues and tasks for this project should be tracked. For tracking bugs, issues, and your project, we want to use the same tracking tool to keep track of features to develop and features currently in development. We want to track any technical debt that needs to be addressed at some point in the future, and we need to manage bugs and their priority levels. Build process. Any Liferay DXP project should implement some kind of build script to automate the building process. DXP Cloud takes care of this by implementing build scripts with Jenkins when commits are merged into the codebase. The automated build process for DXP Cloud includes building a complete Docker image, and that includes all app server, configuration files, and Liferay DXP. The portal ext properties file is taken care of by DXP Cloud out of the box. This ensures that correct configuration values are used during deployment. This portal ext properties file should be customized to each node. By default, in DXP Cloud, common configuration settings are extracted into a shared properties file. Build and deployment scripts are configured for appropriate portal properties in each environment by the DXP Cloud team. The Liferay patching tool is also available. Every environment needs to include a mechanism for leveraging Liferay's patching tool. This patching tool is integrated into the building process of DXP Cloud. The patching tool is integrated into the build process for DXP Cloud. All patches and hotfixes are applied during the build process. When we're all ready with that, we can move on to going live with DXP Cloud. Automated testing is something that Liferay also recommends. We recommend that your Liferay DXP project use these tests after the build process. DXP Cloud takes care of this out of the box with Jenkins. Unit tests should be written and executed regularly during development to ensure software is behaving as designed. Functional tests are important in ensuring software meets business requirements, and load tests are crucial to ensuring project performance and stability. For checking backup and restore, we need to make sure that backups are configured prior to the go-live. Ensure that performance is not significantly impacted by the backup process. Managing backups is easy with DXP Cloud. What we need to do is configure automatic backups in the backup services lcp.json file. Make sure that these are set up to run at off-peak hours so that we're not interrupting performance during production hours. We can go ahead and restore from a backup from the web console. We can do this by selecting a backup and deploying as you would any other build. Next, we'll be deploying to production. We want to configure a custom domain for the Liferay service for our production environment before the go-live. Custom domains must be registered with the dedicated environment IP as an A record. Once the domain is reachable from any device after DNS propagation, we can add it to the Liferay service via the web console or lcp.json. DXP Cloud actually handles the routing for us. We can verify the custom domain status after it's properly configured for the Liferay service. We can reach the service through a browser, and we can check its status on the network page on the web console. We need to make sure that the rollback plan is available before the go-live. DXP Cloud makes it easy to roll back if deployment doesn't go as expected. We can find the most recent backup of the old production environment in the web console. It's as easy as deploying that build. For the database rollback, we can use a previously stored backup instead of previous build code. This uses the backup services API to download and upload backups. We can use a CLI tool to invoke those APIs. To use these APIs, all we're going to need is the backup services hostname and authentication, either basic authentication or a user access token of some kind. The following APIs are then available. We have the download database API, the download volume API, and the upload backup API. The upload backup API requires 3 steps. We can create the database file, create the volume file, and invoke the backup API. That's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one.